Disney Star Wars Acolyte is going to be nothing but hot garbage dog. I'm not going to say it. It's going to be dog shit. Yes, I am going to be saying it. And why would I say that? Well, this article from Entertainment is nonsensical, just nonsensical bullshit. I shouldn't be cursing this early in the damn video, but goodness gracious, this is absolutely ridiculous. Here was what the article says, and it is just so fantastic. Why would I say it? Because all they're talking about, the talking points for Acolyte is diversity and inclusion and da-da-da. Like, the popularity of Star Wars was not because it was full of white people. It was because anyone could relate to these characters, to Luke Skywalker, to Han Solo. All these characters were relatable. Again, not because they were white, because they were well written, well acted. It's so frustrating. Amanda Stenberg on how the Acolyte has made sci-fi safe for black nerds. You hear that, everyone? Black nerds were terrified. They couldn't come out of their homes, scared to sit and enjoy all the shows. But wait a minute. If there have been black nerds for all this time and suddenly it's become safe for them because of diversity and inclusion, how? How, if they weren't represented on the screen in such superficial, surface-level manners, how could they even exist before now, before the Acolyte? Whatever happened? Maybe it's because shows like stories, such as Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, were relatable to all skin colors. But hey, what the hell do I know? Acolyte cast speaks out on being the most diverse Star Wars project ever. And this right there, when this is the only thing that you can talk about, that tells everyone this is going to be nonsensical, ideologically driven garbage. It's what we've gotten in the past. There are many reasons for Star Wars fans to be excited about the franchise's upcoming Disney Plus series, The Acolyte. For one thing, it will explore a new era that is actually failing in the comic book and the books. Is anybody talking about the High Republic at all? About the Rock that's an engineer? No, besides YouTube channels trashing it left, right, and center. Are these comic books selling well? Probably not. Nobody's interested. They want the classic era. If anything, the High Republic has just fallen flat on its face. It will give us the first ever Wookiee Jedi. Okay, cool. Let's see. But here's where the big announcement is. The thing that they have to put in the article. The only thing worth talking about. Acolyte already standing out well before it's 2024. Why? It's the most inclusive and diverse live-action Star Wars project ever. Because the only thing that matters is sexuality and skin tone. Amanda Stenberg, gay, non-binary, black, intersectional feminist. Oh boy, aren't you excited? Oh, the show's lead, intersectional feminist. Yay. I can't wait to see what the stories will bring us. Jodie Turner-Smith, we have to point out that she's black. South Korean, got to point that out. Filipino Chinese descent, got to point that out. You can't just be organic on the screen and make good characters, well-written characters that anyone can relate to. It has to be superficial, surface-level nonsense. Oh, black and gay. Gay and married to showrunner. Oh, Lord. Oh. Former assistant to Harvey Weinstein there, Leslie Headland. Good God. Inclusivity and diversity is especially startling considering where the franchise began in 1977, where the only black actor to be part of the original Star Wars was James Earl Jones, because who gives a shit about Billy D. Williams? My goodness. Who provided the voice but not the body of Darth Vader, because nobody cares. You forgot about Billy D. Williams. And, of course, Samuel L. Jackson. He doesn't exist, right? Of course not. This is a galaxy a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away where race didn't exist. Sure, the original Star Wars trilogy outside of Billy D. Williams had primarily white characters. Why? The Empire was kind of focused, slightly kind of sort of based on a particular group of people who were, I don't know, tyrannical in their pursuits, who weren't really interested in a lot of aliens, but that was the Empire. Not to mention, the story focused on a particular group of people. 3 of them. 4 of them, actually. Wookiee. You want to include C-3PO and R2-D2 in there? But no, it was a singular story focused on a particular group of characters. Princess Leia, Luke Skywalker, Han Solo. They happen to be white. Okay. Maybe it was a sign of the times, 1977. Perhaps it was just a story. But no, now we have to celebrate diversity, superficial inclusion, not forced inclusion, instead of focusing on, I don't know, writing a good story. Yes, I talk about it all the time because it's what we crave. It's what the fans crave. Just to get a good story, put whoever the hell you want in there. Honestly, don't care what their gender is, what their sexuality is, what their nationality, their skin tone, how much melanin content they have. Just make a good story. Heaven forbid. But no, your advertisement is all about diversity and inclusion, and then absolutely insulting the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy by not even mentioning 2 of the main characters of those stories. But whatever. Franchise made strides with Pedro Pascal and which, can you really include Pedro Pascal considering it was mostly a stuntman in the suit? He did the voice, sure. If you're going to complain about James Earl Jones only providing the voice, but surely you can do the same with Pedro Pascal, because he mostly only provided the voice. Sure, he took his helmet off, but that's not the way. Moses Ingram, mentioning Moses Ingram from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, that was a poorly fantastic actress, I'm sure, but Reva was a poorly written character and a poorly performed character, screaming on set, doing all this nonsensical stuff. And, of course, we bring up Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. Can you really bring Rosario Dawson? Because she's under makeup. It's the same instance as Darth Vader. A suit, a mask, all that stuff is no different than makeup. Rosario Dawson's not on the screen. It's Ahsoka that's on the screen. Something else a lot of people are looking forward to? I might check it out. It's a progression. Acolyte star Stenberg called really exciting when they sat down at EW's Dagobah Dispatch podcast to discuss the new show. Now, the only thing they wanted to discuss was my diversity and inclusion. You can see the progress that Star Wars is making across the board in all of the streaming series that are getting diminutive returns. I think that's the word. I said it in another video. I should know this word. Oh, Lord have mercy. The difficulty minority fans have traditionally felt when gravitating towards the genre. I call bullshit on that one, because you can't have such a popular franchise, in this case, Star Wars. We'll bring up Lord of the Rings as well. These franchises cannot be so worldwide, have worldwide popularity if they're only appealing to one demographic, one skin tone. It's impossible. These franchises, again, they are popular around the world. So I'm sorry. These statements are just... When it comes to the world of fantasy and sci-fi in general, it hasn't felt like a safe space always for people of color. Where is your proof? Constantly saying making these nonsensical statements without any sort of proof to back up what you're saying, people were going to see this. They hear your statements and they look kind of confused, especially the people of color that you're referring to. People who have been fans of Star Wars, of the sci-fi genre for decades and decades and decades, will look around and question, what the hell is she talking about? Because you're not providing any sort of proof. Stenberg says, this article continues, and it's been a world that I've always deeply loved and been invested in. But I thought you said it wasn't always a safe place for people of color. How can it not be a safe place and you not be deeply loved and invested in? These two statements do not correlate. I'm sorry. So to be in a way, shape, or form a part of a wave that is ushering in inclusion and safety for black nerds, it's my dream come true, because the only thing that you can come up with to promote the Acolyte is diversity, inclusion, black nerds, all this other stuff. If that's all they can talk about, that is a surefire sign that this show is going to fail. I don't know. It's definitely a red flag, if nothing else. Again, diversity and inclusion was something the rest of the cast couldn't help but observe, because you're walking in with blinders on. Either that, or it's what Disney told you to say. You were given the script. Here's what you go out. Here's your talking points, because that's the only thing we can talk about, because the show probably isn't all that interesting. Hey, you know what? I will be happy to eat crow if I'm wrong about this. I'll be more than happy. I would love to, because that means the show is written well and it's interesting. And it's not just all about checking a box at the beginning. Definitely a conversation we've had set out. It's really refreshing to walk onto a set as diverse. Again, diverse. Barnett excited for audience to see what he and so many others have not seen before on screen. In what world? Did Mace Windu not exist? Did all these other Jedi just not exist? Because there were a boatload of Jedi in the prequel trilogy. Did they forget about the prequel trilogy? Are they ignoring it? I mean, Kathleen Kennedy decided to ignore all the expanded universe that comes now called Legends. She decided to ignore all that. Oh, what else do we have? We have an Asian Jedi, because again, that's all you can talk about. But this has to be one of my favorites. This woman right here, Turner Smith, has noticed something else incredible about the Acolyte that makes it stand out from the pack of Star Wars offerings. This is a bold-faced, delusional lie. I also really love that our show was much more women-centered than what I have previously seen in the Star Wars world. Tell me you have never watched Star Wars without telling us you've never watched Star Wars. The original trilogy was started the whole first, 10 minutes of the movie? Princess Leia. Did you forget about that? Luke Skywalker went to war for Princess Leia. The Rebellion, Princess Leia. Oh, let's go back to the prequel trilogy. Queen Amidala. The whole thing centered around the Trade Federation blockade around her planet. She was a senator. It started with her, and it ended with her. How can you sit here and say that nothing's been female-centered, woman-centered, completely ignoring Princess Leia, strong female character, competent female character, throughout the entire original trilogy? Say what you want about the prequel trilogy, Queen Amidala. How can you say these things? How can you say these things and expect people to take your word for anything? You lose all credibility just from the fact that our incredible showrunner, Leslie Headland, former assistant to Harvey Weinstein, is a genius woman. Good Lord. And the female producers, and having Amandla? How do you pronounce that word? Her name? Amandla. We'll go with that. Be the person who's leading our cast. It was a very cool way into this universe, in a way that I feel that people have never necessarily seen before, other than they're going to see Rosario in an amazing woman-centered show as well. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go any further. The Acolyte is going to be a dumpster fire of checkbox ideological nonsense, poorly written drivel, simply based on this article. It's happened before. It'll happen again. If the only thing you have to talk about in your promotional material, in your articles, is diversity, inclusion, we've never seen women-centered stories before, it's all nonsense. This is going to be garbage. Mark my words. I'll call it now. I'll be happy to be wrong, because maybe, perhaps, a well-written Star Wars story like Andor, unfortunately nobody watched it because they're so jaded about the garbage that Disney has been pushing out over and over and over again. I don't see the Acolyte being worth the paper it's printed on. But that remains to be seen. We'll see. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave a like, leave a dislike. I appreciate you making it this far. Have a good one.